Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors, where, hey, the music didn't stop when I hit the record button. That's a nice change of pace. Definitely a good omen for what we're about to do here. So, I was looking at the map, trying to figure out what the best path would be to get down to the locked door, the place just south of Misericord, where we intend to use our key, and we have a whole lot of things to do in every direction. Look, the efficient thing to do, probably, is to go east, get the sample of rag skin, drop off our passenger, pick up a new passenger, hit all of this stuff, then come down here, avoid the cursed area, get the Mummer's Frenzy. Like, we could do our new doctor's whole first step of his quest here, and then come down here and unlock a thing, but like, that's gonna take, who knows how long that's gonna take. We also could just head straight south, but if we're gonna head straight south, we really ought to clean up this whole war situation here, which I think we are definitely in a position to do. But that also, like, that might well be a whole episode by itself. My suspicion is that the war is going to be a little bit complicated. So to be perfectly honest with you, I'm thinking maybe we just fetch mirror as far south as we can and go through the door, because the suspense is killing me, frankly. I don't know if I can handle it. So I think what we're going to do is, first of all, anything that we've re-unlocked here, like wandering the streets and stealing a book. We got a penny dreadful, hooray. We don't really need to advertise for a new crew member again, so I guess actually that's it. We're good now. Fetch mirror. I have a fetch mirror, right? Where can we go? We need to go far south. Failbetter Quinn, Buzzard's Omen, Gossamer Smile. I mean, we could go as far south as Scornvaunt. Scornvaunt's pretty close. We could drop off the stuff for the Thrall Rebellion, and then we can worry about the rest of the war later. I think that's a reasonable way to do this. Let us travel through the Mirrorwise. It is, of course, as shapeless and changing as a capricious sea, which we know well at this point. Success is exceedingly likely. Hey, let's use our knowledge to traverse the paths. I have read all about this place. I know most of its tricks. I mean, also I've seen it a couple of times now. There are certain tricks to the Mirrorwise, well-trodden paths that change less often and less explosively than the rest. Corridors of static and predictable architecture serenely reflected from other worlds. You bypass the wonders that other paths through the Mirrorwise might offer you, but you also bypass the horrors. So we don't get anything, but it's a nice safe path. Alright, we made it all the way out to Scornvaunt. Apparently, okay, I gotta pass a guile test to get the arms to the slaves. I suppose that makes sense. Let's grab current affairs. Preaching doesn't do anything here. Alright, fingers crossed. I'm hoping that if we fail this test, we don't lose our gunpowder and arms consignments. I could totally see that happening. Okay, we passed. The thralls pull up the wood pulp floor with their bare hands and bury the rifles and powder barrels beneath. When the time comes, they promise. You hurry away before the guards can notice you. This is good. This is a very good, helpful thing that we've done here. And then, actually not a huge amount else to do. I don't think there's anything we really want to buy here. I suppose we could fuel up. Do you really need to be carrying 40 fuel around? No, probably not. Alright, south. Distantly to the south, away from the wasps, just as fast as our engine will carry us. And it is actually a completely straight shot south. I mean, there's no reason not to stop by the library, right? There's also no reason to go to the Panopticon. So yeah, I guess we'll go west once, and then south until we hit the library. And we'll grab this. I'm assuming we probably have a bunch of cargo space, yeah. We have offloaded a lot of heavy stuff recently. I feel like we've been building to this for a really long time. I don't know exactly, like, what episode it was in, where we got the, is he... No, he is ignoring us, and that means we must speak to him. Do you have anything fun? You know, 40 gold for a zoological specimen alive is actually pretty good when you consider what those sell for up north. And we will be passing through, what was it, Eldaberthat? Somewhere up north pays very well for these things, and we will be heading there eventually. Nope. Train, cooperate. Stop slowing down. Oh, this is bad. Okay, eventually we made it. I was in the middle of saying something, and now I don't remember what it was. Oh! I feel like we've been looking for a key, or at least we've known that we needed a key for a whole lot of episodes at this point. A lot of actual real-world human hours. So I'm excited about what we're going to find, although I suppose all of this build-up might lead to a bit of a feeling of anticlimax, I suppose. Nope, smash it. I have no interest in taking on... Well, apparently we gained some sanity and then lost it all instantly. Well-to-do travelers. You know, that's exactly the kind of people who we should be jumping out here. Or, I suppose, maybe we should be jumping nobody. Our character's moral compass, it swings wildly back and forth at this point. Also, is the doctoring happening? No, not really. I really want to get my insight up from 33. I want to give Cromlech many apprehensions. But I need some of this doctoring to occur first. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and drop a bunch of apprehensions here. It doesn't make a lot of sense for our character to be good at fighting. It doesn't combine well with like the dude as I imagine him. But Guts is, because it governs the healing rate. I guess, provided that is true. I haven't like verified that after I was told. I just believed. That makes it way too important of a stat to leave it low, even if it doesn't make any sense for it not to be low. Well, I think his redness went down a little bit. No, he's still pretty cheesed off though. All right, that's fine. I'm pretty sure he's less red than he was though. Yeah, our insight score is really awful, and it's one of those things that that should be fixed. Alright, let's browse some unfinished books. +2 cultural knowledge of the confectorate. Interesting. A recipe book. It starts with honeyed sweets, mead, honey cakes. Flipping to the final unfinished pages, you find instructions for the preparation of honeyed human corpse, both mummified and fresh. The illustrations do not shy from the subject matter. You put the book away. That's a smart move. I mean, cultural knowledge is valuable. Do you need any help? Oh, the literary mice. I'm surprised that we're still doing this, since I already found out about them. Yeah, we'll knock politely. We'll warn them that they're being pursued. Yeah, we'll just get some stuff here. Probably this would be a good time to hang out with the rhinoceros. And onward. Very slowly. The train is wearing down as I continue to crash into... Okay, hold on a second. The comic timing of that was appropriate, me getting smashed into the rocks while I'm talking about how I'm bad at not smashing into stuff. But also, I definitely did not hit that thing. Did you see how far away from it we were? It's almost like spatial dimensions don't function the way we'd expect them to in the house. Get a free glimpse of another world, and then leave this dude to... You know, I'm sure whatever's going on with him, it's probably better than being in the brig in the bottom of my train. Oh, these guys are definitely very curious about us. Are we? Yes, we are on the right track. I'm very curious what the area beyond this door is like. Because it seems to be quite large. Alright, scavenge. We discovered a cryptoglyphic tablet. Is that the only thing we've ever found here? I think it might be. Play with a dog. Of course, play with a delightful dog. How did we ever get along without pets? Alright, and like I said, we're going to use the door directly south of Misery Cord because I'm afraid that if we unlock a different door somewhere else in the big wall of blue doors, I will forget which one we unlocked. I will have a hard time finding it in the future. Alright, here we go. It's been locked for millennia. Hopefully the hinges aren't rusted. The key moves, dragging your hand with it. A slight motion of your wrist is met by a screech and rumble as ancient hidden machinery engages. Clanking and thumping as the tumblers drop. A sudden hiss of air. Gained distinction? Pioneer. It's weird that I guess keys are not easy to come by. I'm a little surprised that it's been so long since anyone was through these. Alright. Okay. Eye walls. Just your standard everyday eye wall. No big deal there. Aside from that, remarkably similar. I guess it's still the house, right? So we need to, it looks like, go east a couple of tiles here. Oh, or we could just accidentally wander into Skimmersgard. That's pretty ominous. It rests glimmering on the lake surface. From either side of the township stretch sweeping, delicate wings. Skimmersgard is a town that can fly, though its fur-clad citizens prefer it to dance weightless on the water. I would also not want to be in the town while it flies. Let's grab some news real quick. The Skalds of Skimmersgard spread word of recent events with songs and drums. You need only find a street corner and listen. A great fish has been hauled from below. A raid is planned. Retribution against the Word Hunters. Monsters howling in the night. One day, the town will fly. But not today. The chieftain of Skimmersgard sends for you. The messengers quietly insist that it's urgent. The chieftain is a small man, although he makes up for it by the size of his beard. His face is painted in blues and yellows, and slung over his back is an axe almost as big as he is. Flanking him at his table are two robed women, their faces hidden by veils. My Valis have peered into the place beyond mirrors and seen a reality storm coming, says the chieftain. Our lizard rhinos are gone with our raiders, but your metal beast is fast. You must warn the other tribes before it is too late. Sorry, what is a reality storm? That seems bad. The chieftain peers at you dubiously beneath jagged eyebrows. Does your land beyond the door not have storms? He shakes his head. Well, you are lucky. We often endure emotion storms, which are a hardship, but the reality storms are even worse. Reality storms will change the laws that the gods set down. Even the bravest warriors weep in fear. Okay, who do you want me to warn? The pipe men, the eaters of gristle, and the word hunters, says the chieftain. Though we may fight with these heathens, we do not wish them to suffer a reality storm unprepared. The other tribes have no Valis to warn them. I'm not going to ask for a reward. How long do I have? Oh, hey, look at that, a thing where time actually matters. You have 2 weeks, says the chieftain. Punish your steel insect assiduously and spur it on as fast as it will scamper. That's not a good way to get results out of people. That's fine, he doesn't know anything about trains anyway. We've been escorted away. Well, let's take a moment and wander the streets. A crowd has gathered as Skimmersgard's veiled witches, the Valis, recite a guttural chant in the town square. It seems to be some kind of ritual. There are bells ringing, bright fires burning, elaborate gold-painted circles on the floor. Finally, a spiral of clouds form far above. The small hurricane slowly extends itself down to the lake below, and with a noise like a giant slurp, begins to suck from the lake. Drops of water deluge the city, along with a less frequent rain of flapping and bewildered fish. The laughing townsfolk fight each other for the fish, spearing them and holding them over the fires. A feast has begun. The fish feast lasts long into the night, though the Valis retreat to their temple, exhausted. Well, that was remarkably pleasant for a thing that happens to us in the house. Let's cuddle a rhinoceros and then, I guess, get gone. There are no shops here for some reason. Okay, so did he mark on our map? He did. That was really nice of him. I really appreciate him making this so easy on me. I guess let's go to Blad Radok first. So it looks like south twice and west some. Easy enough. I have no idea, by the way, how long it takes us to travel through a room. It's Cobb's Day, the 17th of Crossroads here. Because I've not really had to pay attention to the date very much. And then obviously, we get indications that time is passing during narrative events all the time. But I assume time also passes when you travel. Although I suppose it could be like Disco Elysium style. Nope, there you go. Panday 18th. So it didn't happen at a room changeover. It's probably some number of real-time minutes. Wow, look at you. Can we catch it? It's actually fairly quick. What is your deal? Jabadir Musketeers. A troop of soldiers from Jabad clinging to their stampeding lizard rhino with desperate tenacity. Like all Jabadirs, they're small and round and wearing boiler suits and gas masks. Unlike most Jabadirs, though, these ones have rifles strapped to their back. Your radio crackles. They warn you not to trifle with them. So if we had some alcohol, we could trade for a map information. That would be nice. I think Blad Raddock, it just got marked on our map, I'm pretty sure. Not actually that useful. A scatter of badly built tin huts nestled in the crevice of a tumorous mountain. Not the friendliest place you've been. Eyes like flint follow your every step. Some villagers spit as you pass, and others make a strange sign with their hands. Okay, well, listen, I'm here to help, so you guys could be nice. There's a violet pall around the bloated mountain and a faint singing on the breeze. Your fingernails ache. When you close your eyes, you smell burning metal. A villager listens to your warning and attempts a smile. It looks odd on her dour, hard-lined face. Thank you, she says. Come. We will reward you with something juicy from the mines. I'm pretty curious about that. This is less about me being rewarded and more about me finding out what she's talking about. I'm going with her. As you trudge up the side of the mountain, she explains the organ mines. Blad Mountain is filled with holes, she says in a flat voice. Each hollow is the shape and size of a human, and each is filled with organs and hot-pumping blood. Each is the living innards of someone from another world. When we pull out a vital organ, the rest will start to rot. Mining is a delicate art, extracting as much as we can without killing the otherworldly host. She descends into the mountain with a pickaxe and scalpel. When she returns much later, she is blood-soaked and has a dripping bag slung over her shoulder. That's very unsettling. Boy, I bet the people that you're extracting as much as you can from really wish you would stop doing that. Take as much as you like, she says generously. 3 delicious meat. Wonderful. Obviously, let's not do rest and recover. We are on the clock here, but we have time to try to gather news. No one in Blad Raddock will speak to you unless you earn it with sweat. You spend the day helping them bring in the harvest, kidneys and livers and lungs and intestines, pulled from the wet insides of the mountain by blood-soaked miners. It's stinking hard work, and you're sure there are toxic gases burping from the mines. You start to feel lightheaded. Your stomach is racked with cramp, invisible fingers tearing your guts. You're forced to give up. Jeers pursue you as you leave. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess we could investigate the organ mines a little bit further. It doesn't seem like a great idea. You sneak into one of the tunnels that riddles the sulfur-belching mountain. The scraggly-toothed villagers above would undoubtedly be outraged to discover you here, but the mines are so labyrinthine that you doubt you'll run into trouble. Delving deep into the mines, you come across a cavity in the wall. It's a hollow the precise shape and depth of a human body, with an anatomically correct collection of innards. A thumping heart, a drab brain, a network of veins, all exposed to the open air. But some of the organs are missing. Its lungs have been replaced by crude bellows, its liver by a rusted tin can. Several arteries are missing, replaced by lengths of plastic tubing. Some of that might work a little bit. The rusted tin can, probably not so much. I mean, we should not take the heart. Right? First of all, what do I want a heart for? Secondly, it will definitely kill this person who is probably already going to die, I suppose. But for real, I don't need a heart. Hasten away. The innards are raw and red and pulsating. You can feel the heat coming off of them. Yeah, I don't need to get involved in that. Let's try preaching? You've never heard laughter here. Not until you stand up and start speaking, anyway. You start to preach, but your voice dies in your throat. The villagers have assembled with weapons. Long, cruel hooks and iron spikes. They stare at you, daring you to continue. But you don't plan to become a martyr. Yeah, we'll just pack up and that's fine. That's my bad, really. Did we... Nope, we did not pet yet. Okay. Do they sell anything here? Human hearts? Well, I guess I can't be surprised. Also, bottled darkness, but not at a very good price. Okay, I think we've accomplished what we need to accomplish here. So, probably it makes the most sense to go down to Word Hunter's Hearth and then up to Jabad. Looks like down twice, probably. See, look at this. We're showing up immediately. We're getting a sense of the intercity conflicts of the area. We're getting a good sense of place about this region already. These guys, those guys are not after me, but I don't fancy my chances of catching them if I turn around and try to careen back into them. The lizard rhino is actually pretty quick. That said, we certainly are too at this point. So is a reality storm... Hold on, we might be able to catch these guys. We're pretty close. Yes, compare maps, absolutely. Okay, they just told us about Jabad, which we already knew about. But I guess it wasn't technically marked as Jabad on our map just yet. I mean, listen, it's not a big deal to waste a thrilling yarn. We have thrilling yarns. I was afraid those ones were after us, so I didn't, Oh, that's helpful. Thank you. Alright, the physics of my reverse there don't really add up. Whatever, we got out of it. So I think we're as fast as we can be now, or at least we've bought all the scuttlers that we could buy, right? A word, a series of marks on paper, a particular vibration of the air, a shared cultural understanding, and, on the edge, where reality wears thin, words are prey. Word Hunter's Hearth, a crude wooden thatch roundhouse, slender horses tethered outside, boisterous voices shouting and laughing within. A black-letter word is impaled by the door, perhaps in boast, perhaps in warning. It's dead. Its meaning lost. Yep, okay, I mean, not a big surprise. They're literally hunting words, right? We know how they do. Okay, so you gotta bring alcohol if you want to gather news. Let's try to warn them about the storm. The word hunters drink and sing and laugh inside the merry little roundhouse. Outside, fragments of broken glass are falling like snow. There are solemn faces forming in the chimney smoke. An unearthly whine sings on the wind, then dies into silence. Inside, the hunters listen to your warning gravely. They present you with hunted words as payment, dead and inexplicable words, their meanings killed, pinned to a board by iron nails. An etymological collection. What a weird... I mean, this should probably go in our museum, right? The word hunters hand you a tankard of foul-smelling brew and slap you on the back, and then we politely dispose of it when none of them are looking. We could try preaching? I'm going to try preaching. You circle the hearth, pausing to talk quietly about angle crab. The word hunters are impressed by your audacity, and there are many calls to bring you drinks, but they don't seem particularly swayed. Well, it's a better result than we've gotten in some places. Alright, let's enter the hearth, which I assume is the name of the roundhouse. Pulling aside the leather flap that serves as a door, you are greeted by the stench of horse dung and unwashed armpit. Lovely. That sure is a disquieting incident. You are hit by a wave of noise and smell. The word hunters are gathered around a round table in the hearth's center. Hardy, bearded men in leather and chainmail, drinking and roaring and laughing. A few women and children stare from the balconies above. One of the word hunters spears something black and wriggling on his fork. It's not a morsel of food as you first thought, but a word you recognize. It means... And then the word vanishes into the word hunter's mouth, and you abruptly realize that you don't know what it means anymore. You can remember it, but it's just a nonsense collection of syllables. That's a terrifying idea. Also, they eat them? I mean, we knew they hunted them, but for some reason, it galls me an additional layer that they are eating the words. I don't know why. I dare you to try to explain that one. This etymological collection costs 22 app. I'm assuming apprehensions. That's pretty weird. I have no interest in buying it. I do think it will make a fun curiosity for our museum, but we already have one. Alright, so north 3 and east some. So what was it, the 17th when we got the quest? We're doing pretty well on time. Uh-oh. These ones are definitely interested in us. Exiles from Skimmersgard, driven mad by the ravages of darkness. Through splintered teeth, they demand stories of a better life, a life of warmth and light. Requires a glimpse of another world. Oh, it's any one of these? We have so many glimpses. Here, have a free glimpse. You tell them about harsh azure skies and warm sunlight and soft, fragrant soil. They sigh with deep satisfaction. Yeah, that's easy enough. I mean, I'm sure we could have just passed the getaway check. And even if we didn't pass the getaway check, I'm sure that we could just run away during the first round of combat. But at the same time, glimpses of another world have essentially no value. They're so incredibly common. Alright, how's the healing going? It seems to be going pretty well. Cromlech is still not interested in being chatty. Do we need to go north again? No. Alright, we're just going to try to veer around this guy and just barely make it. It was nice of the developer not to make the entire train vulnerable to interruption. Wait, what am I just figured out that I don't need to go north anymore. What am I doing? Apparently it was felt that buying additional train cards should not be detrimental to you, which I really appreciate. Alright, Jabad. I don't know if we have to get back within the 2 weeks. I would assume not. I would assume you just have to deliver the warnings. Not so much a city as a bloated assemblage of pipes, a tangled knot of rusted iron, a positive Windows 95 screensaver of a city. The entire edifice creaks alarmingly in even a slight breeze. The odd little Jabadirs roar through their pipes on jets of pressurized dust, protected from injury only by their thick padded clothing and sturdy constitutions. Let us attempt to gather news. The Jabadirs bounce through the pipes far too fast to hear your questions. You'll have to chase one down, which for some reason is a vigilance challenge. You leap into the blasting dust and bounce from bend to bend, each one leaving a fresh bruise. The pipes are nightmarish, a nightmarish, featureless maze, but you're able to track down a Jabadir and keep pace with him, or it, bombarding the little fellow with questions. Pipe 17 exploded, killing a Jabadir in mid-transit. A convicted murderer has been fired into the wall, leaving a permanent stain. A reality storm has been blamed for the recent infestation of eyes. Oh, okay, that makes a certain kind of sense. You are spat from Jabad's far end, dizzied and elated. Yes, I am pretty happy that worked. Alright, let's try to warn the Jabadirs. The pipes are rattling ever so softly. There is a sickening purple tinge to the air. Flickering shapes move swiftly at the corner of your vision. You allow one of the pipes to suck you up and bounce you through the maze, shouting warnings to passing Jabadirs. Echoes carry your words. A Jabadir meets you outside and bows solemnly. Jabad sends its earnest thanks to the Holy Valis, he intones, and hands you a sword in its scabbard. This blade can only be drawn from the sheath by a legendary hero, so it's pretty useless, but we know you like this kind of thing in Skimmersgard. That's a pretty sick burn there. As you leave, the Jabadirs are bustling back and forth securing the pipe joints. They don't really seem all that concerned. Well, whatever, we did the job. Now I think we've earned some vacation time. Let's go explore these pipes. You throw a coin into one of the pipe holes, experimentally, of course. It is sucked up so fast you barely catch its glimmer. You allow yourself to be sucked up into the nearest pipe, and for about half an hour experience what life is like as a Jabadir. It's hell. You whiz from place to place, borne forward on a cascade of billowing dust, feeling a little like a dust mote yourself. You shoot past the Jabadir High Court, catching just a snatch of the judge's verdict. You career past a Jabadir child who shouts a greeting too fast to be understood. You zoom over the bellows, the prison machine where Jabadir slave convicts toil endlessly to keep dust flowing throughout the pipes. By the time you're shot out the other end, you have an awful headache and you feel profoundly sick. No gain, lost some sanity. Stagger back to the Canopede. Apparently, just not that good of an idea. Alright, let's try preaching here. You squat in one of the pipes and shout about angle crab to passing Jabadirs. At first it seems entirely fruitless, or utterly fruitless rather, although probably fairly funny looking. Do these people ever stop to listen? But, to your surprise, you start to see the same stumpy little figures whizzing past again and again. They're doubling back to listen to you. Well, let's just praise angle crab as hard as we possibly can. You excitedly talk about the metaspace manifold, the hyperparabola, the principle of recursive incursion, all the impossible geometry that comes to mind. The Jabadirs seem to understand you instantly, and as they fly past, they start to shout in-depth technical questions. The dialogue lasts all day, and eventually outpaces your technical ability. You hand out some copies of Angle Crab's manual, which will hopefully answer their queries. It seems that followers of Angle Crab and the Jabadirs have a lot to learn from one another. I don't remember how many points of divine reproach we have, but hey, maybe one day we could even be positive with Angle Crab. I should, in fact, come back and do this again, and then cuddle the rhinoceros. Never don't cuddle the rhinoceros. Okay, pretty standard stuff here, a little bit pricey. And with that, do we need to return? I mean, we don't have a notation that we need to return to Skimmersgard. Let's head straight south from here, hit the ruins. We can stop by Skimmersgard again on our way out. I assume we are going to have to go out through the same door that we opened to get down here, right? Unless, I mean, I suppose it's possible that all of the blue gates were connected in some way, and opening one of them opens them all. Or, who knows, it could be even weirder than that, because of course this is a house of many doors. And each door is one very weird thing that can happen. Alright, a horned skull. So these are slightly different than the non-horned skulls. Let's peer inside the eye socket. You reach into the skull's eye socket and shout in pain as something snaps its jaws around your wrist. Withdrawing your hand, you find it clutching a curved knife. The jewel-studded hilt has a set of drooling teeth, and they're currently clamped deep into your skin. It takes hours to prise it off. This is clearly some manner of occult thing, though its value remains undetermined. All that maiming for just a random, dubious trinket. I do feel a little bit ripped off. You know what, I'm not even going to bother interacting with the normal skulls anymore. And the horned skulls might be going on that list. Are we... oh yeah, we're close. Alright, I think this is the last city that we need to take Spire to. Threshold. This might once have been a city. The floor still bears traces of street, faint indents where walls once stood, the occasional fragment of bone. But little is left except the panoptic gate, the final embattled bulwark of reality. Well, let's wander the ruins with Spire, and then we'll go and do it by ourselves afterward, I guess. Spire's eyes roll, his third eye glows, his voice becomes the rumble of many footsteps. This was called Lichgate once, says the thing inside Spire. The worst battle of the war was fought south of here. Nothing has been the same since. Spire wants to wander through the city, but something about Threshold repels you. The air is difficult to breathe, and you feel a strange sickness in your bones. Well, I'm not going to let Spire wander around alone, though. That's not safe. There are fleeting visions on every corner. Ghosts with bright wings, tentacles large as rainbows, a man in awful black armor. Something about the air here is wrong. It's like breathing clouds of needles. On one crater-pocked street, half buried in the dust, you find a twisted clot of dark blood. God's blood, says Spire. Too much was spilled here. Okay, more scab matter. We'll head back. The air is unpleasantly warm, and your nose has started to bleed. Yeah, this seems like a real bad place to be. As you retreat from the ruined city's borders, the iridescence drains from Spire's third eye. The demon has left him. When I was small, my mother died, he says, his voice human again. I was angry for a long time, and when that drained away, I was hollow. That's how it feels now. Whatever this thing is, it's in mourning. Well, I wonder if we'll have new options with him once we get back to the train. But before we do that, let's just wander around. Almost all traces of the city are gone. As you wander through Crumbling Threshold, you realize that reality is at its thinnest out here. Your tongue has become a lizard, mercifully deceased. Your left eye has migrated to the side of your neck. You better leave quickly before these changes become permanent. Oh, I don't know, who doesn't want to have a lizard tongue? There's hardly anything left of the old city. Even the foundations are just pale imprints. Eventually, you stumble across a skeleton, miraculously intact, with a strange shimmering shape hovering above its skull. Okay, well, I'll steal all of that, apparently. Return to the Kinetipede. The air tastes of milk. Your skin is coming up in a strange spiral-shaped rash. That's a pretty weird phrasing. That might just be a Britishism. Or it might mean that our skin is coming up. You know, that's my concern. Alright, well, let's have a look at this dubious trinket we found. It turns out to be an occult relic. Wonderful news. That's actually, yeah, it's a pretty good deal. And then, of course, spend some time hanging out with Waif. Things could be better here. We're definitely suffering a little bit, sanity-wise. And do we have any idea where we want to go from here? Not really. I think, if I remember correctly, we were told that there would be another door to unlock beyond the door that we unlocked to get down here. Right? I think. It might be worth exploring further south, just to see if we can, ascertain where the end of this area is. But I'm gonna have to do a little cut here. I'm gonna have to take care of something real quick. I will see you guys in just a second. Alright, sorry about that. The good news is I did have to save and quit and come back and reload the game, so we can wander Threshold again before we leave. Got ourselves a little reset. Let's do it. As you wander through Crumbling Threshold, you realize that reality is at its thinnest out here. Your tongue has become a lizard. Okay, this is not new information. I know my tongue's a lizard. Come on, everybody knows my tongue's a lizard. That's the thing about me that is most well known. So with that, I suppose we're done here in Threshold. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that the giant clock man told us. He said we were going to have to unlock a door in the south part of the house and then go beyond it and unlock another door, didn't he? I don't know if that's in our concerns list. So, we do have the Dream of Trees thing for Persephone. We know that there's a muscular old man at the bottom of Failbetter Quinn. We have been trying desperately to get there. Where is the spooky... A Night of Clocks? Find a key, head south, unlock the door marked on your map, which we did, right? Unless it's marked another door? We actually can't go any further south. That's interesting. Huh. Let me out west. It could be the case that I'm misremembering what the clock god told us, because it has been quite a long time. Okay, no, there's definitely actually doors. More doors down here. Huh. Well, I don't know, then, what we are supposed to do next. I'm quite forgetful. A ruined fountain. Let us gaze into the pure water and have ourselves a nice haunting vision. Your reflection shimmers and splinters and reforms as a grinning skeleton with blood-dripping heart stuffed crudely into its left eye socket. So, pretty small heart or pretty large eye socket. Both of them would be weird things. Alright, Spire comes to your door, his third eye aglow. I think we've actually made some real progress here. Your room fills with purple light. Spire is not the name of the boy in whom I reside, says the city spirit, his voice the clang and bustle of a market. It's mine. I made him forget his real one. I am the ghost of one of the cities of gods. He sits at your desk and absently, without even looking, begins to sketch, the pencil making quick mechanical movements. You took me to see what happened to my sister cities. For that, I am grateful. It's a little surprising to me that you can jam the body of the ghost of a whole city into a single person's body. I guess there's no reason to think that spatiality plays a part in the behavior of ghosts, but I don't know. It still seems weird to me. So why did you come back as a ghost? Is this like an unfinished business thing? The original city of Spire was destroyed so utterly that it no longer exists, he says. The sketch is taking shape. Sharp grids, curving roads. Not even as a scattered ruin or the foundation of a newer city or a burning embodiment of vengeance. I was simply gone. All that was left was an echo. I totally read a bit of narration there, as though it were character speech. How were you destroyed so thoroughly? The War of the Gods, says Spire. For a moment his pencil pauses. He will not say more. Okay, so what is the boy's real name? His name is Thaddeus Erb, says Spire. A boring little man who enjoys daguerreotypy and not much else. He took a picture of the wrong street sign, and I took up residence in his skull. He will be loyal to you as long as he lives, if you manage to get rid of me. Oh, does that mean you're gonna not leave his body, probably? No, says Spire. Before I am gone, I want to be preserved. We were the cities of the gods, the most marvelous cities to ever exist, and I will not allow us to be forgotten. He hands you two things, the camera obscura that Spire uses for his daguerreotypes, and his recent sketch. And then the purple eye opens wide, and wider still, until you are falling into an indigo abyss. And now you stand in a bustling city. Temples and cathedrals soar all around you, magnificent edifices of marble and gold. It feels like, he wants us to take pictures, right? But it feels like we should look at the sketch first. I think there's probably useful information on here. A map of a sprawling city, more complete and detailed than any you've seen. You remember Spire drawing it in minutes with pencil. Even the people are marked here, static ant blobs in the streets. And there are circles drawn on the map around specific landmarks. Spire has marked out places for you to visit. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. So are the people actually stationary, like the way they're marked on the thing? Let's check in with one. Color bleaches from them as you approach. They walk through you and dissolve into mist. Okay, so no, they're not stationary, but also we're not physically here, probably. Well, I guess let's read the street signs. The signs are in a foreign language you don't recognize, at least at first. As you stare, the words swim and rearrange themselves into Scythian. Welcome to Spire, proclaims the nearest. Church Bell Square, reads another. The third sign, in the center of the square, features a giant painted purple eye staring down. You are being watched, it warns. Yeah, that makes sense. If we're being watched, we probably shouldn't steal anything, and my suspicion is, if I tried, I would find out I can't actually make physical contact with them anyway, so let's, watch gods pass overhead? Something vast and cetacean passes above you, blanketing the city in shadow. It is insubstantial, the details lost in time, but you know that something that vast could only be divine. It seems that back in these days, the gods have yet to retreat from public life. So I've talked a little bit about this before. It does bum me out. Like, they clearly just want us to click the top option over and over again until we have exhausted all of the options, and that's a little boring, and if they want to just thread us through a bunch of experiences, they shouldn't give us the illusion of a choice. Let's just go ahead and click the things, though. The citizen ghosts pay you no heed, and you are able to pick things from the city at will. I'm surprised that we're able to pick them up. Soon you have as much as you can carry. Gold and sapphires from the temples, ancient books of lost magic and forgotten histories, an idol to an unknown deity. If you want to keep those when you leave, says Spire's voice inside your head, answer me a simple question. Which of the cities of gods am I? Oh, crap. Shoot, I have no idea. We definitely were told the number of each of the other cities as we interacted with them, but I do not remember except that the thing beneath Eld Abrahat was the thing beneath Eld Aberthat was number 6, I'm pretty sure. So the second? No, says Spire in your head, and the treasures turn to mist in your arms. That's a shame. I guess let's wander aimlessly. Why not? You wander until your feet blister, searching for an egress. But the city doubles back on itself impossibly, and you find yourself walking the same streets for a second, third, fourth time. Then we enter a cathedral. There are more cathedrals than you can count. Some are devoted to the sanctioned gods you know so well, though you find no mention of more bizarre Abja or Old Lady Death. And the vast majority are dedicated to bizarre gods of which you've never heard. Grandfather Crane, Bejlaheth, Jiruka, Rustmortis, the Sunflower King, and dozens or hundreds more. Alright, now the thing that we're obviously supposed to be doing, we're supposed to be taking daguerreotypes of the places he circled on the map, right? Consulting Spire's map, you walk to the places he has circled and snap daguerreotypes. Each circle encloses a thing of wonder, a bridge that glides on cobweb stilts, a cathedral of breathing flesh and bone, a statue of liquid mercury, somehow sculpted into impossible shape, a cannon the size of a castle. But there are other, more mundane things marked on the map. A row of ordinary terraced houses, a slum, children playing kickball between gutters, a bank, a hospital, a dancing street performance. Finally, you have visited every circled landmark and taken hundreds of daguerreotypes. You're not sure, but you think you feel the street shift very slightly beneath your feet. I wonder if we would have gotten exactly this text even if we hadn't looked at the map to see the circles. I bet we would have. Alright, it's time to go back. The streets dissolve, leaving you back in your kinetipede with Spire's camera obscura in hand. I will leave you with Thaddeus, says Spire, taking the camera from you. The purple glow in the third eye is dimming. His voice gets quieter and quieter, city bustle fading as you leave it behind. He will develop the daguerreotypes for you. Keep them. Remember the city of Spire. Spire's eye closes, and Thaddeus's eyes open. Thaddeus shakes his head as though startled by its lightness. I'm free, he cries, rejoicing, and clasps you in an embrace. Do you know I can remember my name again? Thaddeus, Thaddeus, Thaddeus! And then he slips his camera in his pocket as he goes to tell the rest of the crew, and I'm sure they'll just be overwhelmed by the wonderful joy of that. Thaddeus, it's the most beautiful name in history, obviously. Thaddeus has finished developing your roll of film. It wanted to preserve these, didn't it? Asks Thaddeus. He always refers to Spire as it. He hands them to you, picture after picture, showing a splendid city at the height of its power, a city long ago destroyed. Temples, cathedrals, gods above, exactly as you remember. Burn them, Thaddeus urges. Let nothing remain of it. I don't want to do that. I feel like... first of all, I know Thaddeus has some negative feelings about Spire, but I totally get the urge to not be forgotten. The desire. It's definitely a hell of a lot more than an urge. The powerful primal desire to not be forgotten. I'm going to hang them on my wall. We are not going to forget. I'm going to honor Spire's request. Many will see them, but no one will know what they are. No one except Thaddeus and you, and we lost one relationship, but we also gained 10 a second ago, so it's fine. And then I guess we're just done with Thaddeus Herb. We have maxed out the quest, and we could now, I suppose, replace the dude and get a different quest. If we wanted to. Also, how is... people are healing. Having a surgeon turns out to be helpful. I really, really, really want to be able to get my insight up above 33. We're not going to be able to do the thing in Failbetter Quinn until we do, right? I believe that's an insight check. Basically, I'm just trying to map out the boundaries of the area down here. It is weirdly quiet. We have not seen another train, another person, another vehicle in quite some time. It's an ominous area, what with the eyeballs and everything. Alright, we're just not even going to interact with that weird tiny skull. To be clear, that weird skull that's still way larger than skulls generally are. It's just small relative to the kinds of skulls we're used to seeing out here. And where am I relative to... Okay. So we haven't even actually made it back as far west as we've already been down here. Well, I guess let's keep going. We really haven't gone that far at all. We are now in the place where we would turn north if we wanted to leave through the door we opened. I do wonder if we, yeah, search for a drink. I do wonder if unlocking one of the doors, one of the blue doors, has unlocked them all, if they were connected somehow, maybe? It is always hard to guess the nature of anything in the house. Including the back end of my own train, apparently. It's, you know, it's going to do what it wants to do. I do wish that this process of, like, mapping things out would be a little bit less tedious. And Thaddeus is, like, actually almost recovered. It is a little silly, though, that there's no healing at all while you don't have a surgeon. I could see why it would be slower, but it shouldn't be none. Okay, we had a haunting vision, that's a shame. I hope we don't actually need to upgrade our dwelling to do anything important. I don't want to have to save up 30,000 guineas. I guess after we do this thing, and then we either buy that really expensive armor from Carapace, or we decide to, or we find enough deiform scab matter to build our own. I guess we won't really have anything else to spend on, so it will just accumulate. Okay, we found the edge. So where is that? It's not that far west of Plaid Radek. We don't know how far it goes east, but this is considerably... Yeah, this wall is considerably to the east of where we know the actual wall of the rest of the house to be. It's possible that we've just opened up like a pretty small pocket of rooms down here. And I guess we would have to assume that, we got caught in a reality storm. The wind howls nonsense. Cracks chase each other across your hull, spelling out short, aggressive poems. Eyeballs grow on your skin and burst like spots. The reality storm has hit. It seems to mostly be an eyeball storm. You order the Kinetipede stopped, batten down the proverbial hatches. We probably also have literal hatches. And wait all day for it to pass. Your crew's faces swim and transform before you. A flitting hummingbird, a vast latticework of black iron, a wooden mermaid. Then they settle back into familiarity. All except poor Gwyneth Cole, the swabby. When the storm passes, she has been permanently transformed into a giant clam. After a short and fairly confused funeral, you are able to prise her open and retrieve an exquisite pearl. Hey, free undreamt treasure. Lost a great deal of sanity and also some hull. You are beset by seizures and fright. Okay, that was actually quite a bit of sanity and quite a bit of hull. Well, I suppose let's maybe get back to the friendlier part of the house. That's disconcerting right there. I mean... Oh, okay, as soon as we got close, all of a sudden it started moving again. Maybe his hatches were battened down as well. Let's just go north for a minute here. I'm gonna try to... We're gonna try to see if the other doors in the wall opened. But yeah, we need to get back to a part of the empire where we can, or part of the house rather, where we can restore sanity, and we need to do so relatively quickly. That undreamt treasure is definitely valuable, though. Boy, I wonder... I can't remember. Do we have options to restore sanity at Misericord? This is super weird. The fact that the Jabadeers are just, like, hanging out in the doorways and waiting for us to get close. That's... See, this is a good example of that thing I was talking about. I don't even remember how many episodes ago at this point, where you can use the brokenness of video games in a way that creates an effect of fear. It's unsettling in the way of a thing that is wrong, rather than provoking in you the response that you usually have when you're like, my video game's broken. Okay, that was a little... That was a little startling, that noise. Are we close to... Okay, we're close to the gate. Actually... That was it, right? Because it was 2 spaces south of Misericord? Yeah, this is where the door would have been. I think we have, in fact, opened all of the doors in that southern wall. I'm pretty sure. Okay. We are headed back to Misericord in the hopes of being able to restore some sanity. Oh, you know what? Actually, I bet I could stop for a second and just spend a little bit of time with my rhino. Hooray! The nightmares are receding. Nothing better than an adorable rhino. An adorable and adoring rhino. Because we can do that every X days. We don't know exactly what the timing is. An old companion. You find a bloodied knife in your dresser. Didn't you throw this away? Strange. You'll keep it, for now. Could come in useful again. You're glad nothing is wrong. Did we throw away a bloodied knife? Uh-oh. Okay. That was... Huh. I mean, I guess that event triggered just as we were walking through the transition between 2 rooms is all that was. But me hitting end on the event and the whole screen going black like that definitely, again, unsettling. I am legitimately unsettled. Good job, the video game. You're really killing it with the horror stuff today. Alright, let's try to make it back to Misericord and recover a little bit. I guess this would be a good time to experiment. Do we have any idea? Stop scrolling. It is wild how hard it is to get this thing to scroll just like a small amount. Alright, where are we at? We need to go east 2 more. You know things have gone real sideways when you're eagerly trying to make it to a place that's called Misericord because you expect that will settle your nerves some. Alright, scavenge the ruins, found a dubious trinket. Then examine our dubious trinket. And it turned out it was an occult relic. Cool. Not exactly sanity restoration, but in the neighborhood of sanity restoration, and we do not yet have the option of sanity restoration yet. Well, let's just try to make it back to a real city. So Jagged Sands, not so much. Bissus is a place where we can restore sanity. Or, I mean, we could also do it up here in the Entomark cities, right? I'm trying to remember. Did Bogshadow's the Mycenae thing? Carapace has proper sanity restoration facilities, though. And the next thing we should do is probably settle the Entomark War. So let's go that way. We'll swing through the library. Because you know me. Can't miss a chance to swing through the library. I'm really glad that we went and looked. Oh god, apparitions. Spectres hang at the edge of your vision. When you try to catch sight of them, they withdraw like morning mist. We've seen this text more than once. And I'm just going to keep checking in on our pet cooldown here. Ah, it's up. Rhinoceros, save me. Well, we're still delirious, but the spooky music was replaced with the normal music. We lost the spooky music and we gained the normal music plus the spooky noises. That's like half a point of spookiness. It's definitely an improvement. Do you guys have anything fun for sale? No, not really. 120 guineas for a memory box isn't even a good price. That's the normal price. Alright, let's go inside the library. Can we pet again? No, we cannot pet again yet. Well then, let's just ask if she needs any help. Go find the mice. Knock politely. Ask them to stop finishing the books. No, just warn them. Get some free stuff. Browse the unfinished books. Ooh, Forgotten Legend and Dread Machinations. You find a handwritten book from the days when the City of Keys was in its infancy. Ah, this is just the thing about the babies being born with keys. I sure wish we had some more keys. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what we do with them, because I wouldn't be comfortable just, like, spending one on a random door. A door that we do not know for a fact to be significant. Seems like a terrible waste. Alright, I would like to make it back to a place to restore sanity before we stop for the day. Zealous greeters. Do not be afraid, come with us. The prince welcomes you. Have you seen any visitants wandering in the dark? Demands a voice on your radio, cheerful but insistent. Could you point us their way? I'm gonna just not... No. No, thank you. Okay. Free golem, I suppose it could be useful. So we do still have to... I mean, we could spend some more apprehensions on picking up more clues on the aspects of the trickster, I suppose. I really want to jam a lot of these apprehensions into Cromlech, though. I feel like our insight should be nice and high, representing our character's increased familiarity with the world and the horrible things in it. But they have to let me actually talk to Cromlech first. Aha! We can do exactly that. My dude, please, the perfect cup of coffee. Let's do a whole lot of cups of coffee. Hold on, what is your... 34? Yeah, let's just drive that number way the hell up. We have a lot of apprehensions, and frankly, I'd be comfortable spending them all doing this. We should have insight. Insight makes sense for us, and also Cromlech is my favorite. I mean, listen, we got lots of interesting people in our employ and everything, but Cromlech makes the pancakes. Anybody else making the pancakes? No, I don't think so. I haven't seen it even once. Okay, where are we at? 325 apprehensions remaining. I am not breaking off my intimacy. You can't make me. Okay, 63. So, 65. 2, 3, 4. That should be 70. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think we're at 75 now, which leaves us with 145 apprehensions, enough to push it another 10 points, or we could push something else a little bit. I'm going to go even more insight. And then, you know what, I might have a quick tryst. You know, I do love a romantic encounter. And also, the pancakes. And then, I'm going to actually push this 5 points as well. Okay, 4 points. That's right, we only had 145 apprehensions, not 150. There we go. I feel a lot better about our stats now. Oh, apparently this was the Panomnicon. This is not worth coming to. Alright, we are not able to ask them to let us in, but we might be able to spend time with our rhinoceros. I am merely terrified, and I've never been so happy to be. Okay, so are we going to Carapace? We didn't convince the Mycenae of Bog Shadow, right? We convinced the Mycenae in Frogbit Smut that they should participate. I think we failed the check here. So I guess let's go and try to do that. We're going to want to go west a couple of tiles and then start taking the diagonal. And at this point, we could potentially get into some combat if we wanted without a huge risk of loss, although Cromlech is still pretty wounded. So we gotta be a little careful, I guess. And what do we still need for his, a vanishing? Almost a day slips by before you realize your human prisoner is gone from the cargo. Must have escaped, your crew all agree, though none can believe it. You are suspicious, and you are more suspicious still when a meaty stew is served in the kitchen the next day. Yes, that does seem bad. I am not interested in eating the stew. The rest of your crew eat with obscene abandon. They are soon red from chin to scalp. That's a hideous spectacle indeed. That's not how you eat stew, my dudes. We gained a little bit of sanity from witnessing that, as you would, you know. The southern part of the house is not always kind to us. Sometimes some pretty screwed up things happen down here. So hold on. What was the next step? 3 gallows candles. So we have the bottled darkness, we have the specimen, we have no monolith, and we need 1 more gallows candle. Gallows candles are easy enough to pick up. I'm gonna more tristing. Your romance with Cromlech has just begun. I wonder how many times it will say that. How many trysts do you have to have with someone before it is no longer just begun? What's the number? I'm gonna say 10. Somewhere around the 10th tryst, I'm like, hey, are we a thing or what's going on? It's my usual rule. And then after we get through talking to the Mycenae, I think we just travel on the diagonal a little bit more. We'll end up in Carapace, where we will be able to finish repairing our sanity. And here we have the hum that indicates that we have entered the Entamark proper. God, imagine walking outside and looking up in the sky and seeing a wasp the size that these wasps must be. I would just never go outside again. I've never seen anything half that terrifying, and I still don't want to go outside ever again if I don't have to. Because I am, unfortunately, partially responsible for a very energetic dog who has to be walked every day, so I do spend a lot more time outside than I used to. And let me tell you something, I was right all those years. It's miserable out there. It's all bright, and it smells like things, and... Alright, enter the cottage. Hey, ask him how he got here, and then welcome him aboard. It turns out we need swabbies. Don't worry, nothing bad has ever happened to any of our swabbies. And by the time something bad does happen, it's not like you'll have nightmares about it or anything. It'll be quick and pretty final. You might end up a clam. I'm a little bummed out that we weren't able to save our clam crew member and just have an additional pet on board. Maybe you want to spend time with your clam. Alright, let's try to convince the Mycenae to join in the war. Actually, let's visit the Elder first. Oh, man. The Wrinkle Guild Elder greets you beside a roaring fire in the center of the village. It is surrounded by Mycenae lying on makeshift beds on the floor, their fibrous skin blackened in places as though by fire. Some of them have chunks taken out of them, like the bites of a wolf, great gouges that reveal their glistening vegetable matter insides. Stem rot, explains the Elder grimly. It ravages us year by year, a harvest that takes more every time. We cannot afford to suffer this again. Well, I feel pretty bad about that. I'll have Dr. Vanch look at them. I wish I still had medicinal herbs. Dr. Vanch stalks among the Mycenae, his black coat flapping, his gloved hands tucked behind his back. Ah, stem rot, he says. What a dull, nasty little disease. Scarcely worthy of my time. But I can cure it, of course, if I must. Dr. Vanch stays for 3 days at the village, tending to the decaying Mycenae with home-brewed poultices and injections. How do you inject a... I mean, you just kind of stick it in wherever, and... Because they don't have veins, I would assume. Huh. Soon most of the Mycenae are back on their feet. A few pass away, too far gone, but the black spots heal among the rest, and even the scarring is not too noticeable. The Elder is immensely grateful. As you leave, it presses something into your hand. A good luck totem that has been in our village for a long time, it explains. We hope it proves a better guardian of your crew than it was for us. Well, hey, how do you know it's not responsible for me being here? It may well have saved you. And then let's try to convince them to join in. I wish that our reputation had a role here, because it would be nice if the thing we just did figured into our powers of persuasion, but I guess let's just roll the dice. Let me show you something. The Elder unfolds its many legs and clambers through the village, leading you down through a trap door built of woven reeds and mud crust, down a ladder of spongy fungal strands, and down a spiraling subterranean tunnel with walls that glow. In the eerie light of bioluminescent mold, you find a menagerie of swamp monsters, bog drakes and ramble trees, mudwights and grinning lurkers, giant alligators and giant spiders. Each is standing placid, uncaged, with a strange black fungus completing completing encasing half their head. Probably supposed to be completely. We have cultivated a fungus that can control minds, says Munzunjun with sinister delight. These are just the surviving test subjects, you understand. The project has not gone perfectly, but we can send these flawed servants to help fight your battle, without risk to Mycenae life. This is, yeah, okay. The game notes too. This is also just slavery? I'm not so much into this. No, that's cool, we got it. You should stop doing this. The elder strokes a fungal hand across your shoulders. No matter, it says. We are happy with the efforts of Queen Sabbatha. A peaceful change is better, yes? Well, here's the thing about peaceful change. It's usually not real, and if the current thing is horrifically violent, then waiting to change it slowly is not a peaceful act, it's a violent act. Alright, the Bog Shadow Mycenae will not fight, that's fine, we don't need them. I don't need to employ slaves in my war against slavery, and also the kind of slavery they're doing is extra scary. We should do something about this village. I know we don't really have the ability to, but we should. Okay, west once, north a bunch. Yeah, that's real scary, man. I feel like most of the Mycenae that we've encountered seem like decent enough dudes. Or rather, a colony of a single decent enough dude, maybe? I'm not really sure how fungal personhood works. These poor beetles. Even if we had just the default legs on the train, they would have zero chance of catching us. Well, we might be able to catch up with you. Oh, well, definitely, since apparently you're an even worse driver than I am. Okay, unfortunately, no interaction options with the nomad librarians. Nope, get out of the way. I'm not like a good enough driver to not collide head-on with anything that happens to be in front of me, of course. Okay, finally, back to Carapace. Gather news, of course. Probably worth repairing the hull. It was a pretty good price for the amount of repairs that we needed. Alright, preaching the word of Anglecrab did exactly the thing I was expecting it to do. You know, the thing it always does. And we desperately need to recover sanity, so let's start with playing with our dog. Okay, merely unhinged. And now let's just get rehinged. There we go. Feel like I got all my hinges back. Let's visit the Carmine Palace. We know that petitioning Lady Lucanid will not do anything right now, so instead we will navigate the intricacies of court, which we should be pretty good at now. We got some guile. You find Lady Lucanid in the palace gardens, reading a book to a gaggle of children. Her guards impose themselves between you, but she calls you over with a smile. It's true, she does like us. I'm gonna impress her with stories of our adventures. I do sort of want to seduce her. Here's the thing. Cromlech might not be into it, which I would feel bad about. But if we could get her to marry us, we could turn her against slavery. You know what? I'm just gonna go this way. We're gonna try to be decent to Cromlech. I know I was not as decent to our other crew, and I do feel bad about it. I do so enjoy our conversations, says Lady Lucanid with a simper. The ball is ending, the nobles drifting away, and hey, that, I think, was a pretty productive episode. That is probably where we ought to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, it's time for war, I think. And we'll see you then.